breaks to the high of day of 5, targeting 5. I'm going to go ahead and take profit. Nice chunk of profit right there, over $1,000. Granted, our position size. All right, make a quick little video today. I've been making some big changes. Lost big with real money on Monday, and I go, oh man, what the heck is happening? Even though I was conservative, so realized I wasn't being perhaps completely honest with myself in my simulator. So we've been fixing that, and we've been doing really well. So this morning, a couple play around trades here in the morning. PMA lost 110, WOK lost 330. But then we got this mover, and what I want you to see, you know who you are, is I want you to see what fast price movement looks like. And this is it right here. You see all these orders going through? A lot of interest in this stock right now. And when it's really good, you're going to see it pushing up. It'll look, watch my mouse. It'll go like that, and it'll come down, and it'll go pop, 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 and it'll pop, 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 pop. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, so up on this stock, GMM, $1,760. So we caught our first move. We bought at 361, got out at 380. Then we bought at 394 and 384 and got out at 416. Then we bought at 417 and 409 and got out at 413. That was just break even. Got in at 407, got out at 407, break even. Got in at 402, got out at 394. That was our really only loss. It was about $80. And then we got in at 411 and 408, got out at 455, and then we got in at 459 and 465, and got out at 472. There was some top resistance on that right in here. In here on the 10-second chart, it was really kind of long wicks on our candles. So anyway, it's not bad. Let's show you how we did yesterday and the day before, though. So if we come back over, yesterday we did about $8,400. Really good trades. I only had a couple where I'm eliminating that bad habit where I was just like, whatever. Managed to break even on them, but I definitely oversized, which would be really unrealistic unless you've got a massive account value. But I actually sold both of these a little higher, but I accounted for slippage because my simulator doesn't account for slippage. So but very good numbers here. Very good numbers. I had a couple really good trades, even with just 1,000 shares. Let's go look. First trade of that day, 1,000 shares, $1,000. Really solid trade. 2,000 shares, 790. 5,000. That was a little. This was on a bad entry, so I had to average down on it. But ended up selling it for a good win. $1,400. 3,000 shares, $650. 2,000 shares, $440. I mean, even the $180 are good. But let's see. Got a couple other good ones in here. I'm pretty sure 1,000 shares, $610. This was risky. I bought a halt, and I did get stomped on a halt right down here at the end. So unfortunately, we missed the biggest move of the day. And in the aftermarket, when I was at the chiropractor, the stock moved up. Same one I was trading. It moved up about $15 in about 1.5 minutes. So, granted, we wouldn't have caught the whole thing, but that would have been phenomenal. So, anyways, man, so now we're just logging in these trades for today. Earlier in the week, I did, on Wednesday, we did about $4,000. On, let's see, Tuesday, did about $3,600. And then our simulator on Monday, which was our loss with real money, we did about almost 5,000. So kind of wild how that works. So, but I'm starting to dial it in. I just got to figure out how to manage the psychology changes. So anyways, we'll stand by till we have another entry. So what we're waiting for on this chart, you can't see it on this one, but right about there is where I would want to buy if I did try another entry. So we're going to come in and we're going to go max loss. Stop would be at 50. So we'd be risking, got in at 64, so we'd be risking 140, probably 180 roughly. But we'll see. The MACD is not closed yet, but normally by the time you wait for it to be closed, if it hasn't consolidated longer than this, there's a bit of an issue. What? So let's just give it a second here and see. Got in a little high. I could add, but this is kind of a separate leg of the move. Yeah, 64 was kind of high. Let's wait and see. Looking for a nice shift in momentum here. Still a little choppy on our 10 second. It's not super strong, but we're getting some push, so I'd really like to add at 54. Be a bigger loss if it doesn't pan out. Momentum's not quite as strong. Let's check our volume. Volume's good. We're above our 9 EMA. Hope I missed my add. I'll add at 55. So average cost is 460. And this is a little risky because I've been noticing that stocks will drop below the 50 mark just for a second, and then they'll come back up. You see, so that dropped, and now it's back over. And then it'll pop. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta wait. We're consolidating right now. I'd rather catch it on the quick move up. Bigger loss here, definitely. Add once at 47. Average cost is 455. 2 cents away from break even. That was a good add. Now let's see if we can get it. Otherwise, we're cooked. We are cooked. 51. Still showing some strength. Okay, if I can get close to 55, there we go. Hit 54. I wouldn't be surprised if it tapped the 20 moving average on the 1 minute chart. This looks to be around 440. I'll get one add down there if that does happen. And that's a big position relative to my abilities, but that'll bring our cost average down pretty good. Yep, there we go. There we go. Give it a second to pop again. There was resistance at 65. Now it's squeezing. Hopefully it keeps going. Breaks to the high of day of 5. Targeting 5. I'm going to go ahead and take profit. Nice chunk of profit right there, over $1,000. Granted, our position size was a bit larger, and I'm glad I sold because now we're down at 460. We have a huge topping tail on our 1 minute, on our 10-second chart. So that was a really good trade. This thing's been kind of doing that. It'll spike and then it'll reject off the top, but then it'll progressively come up. So definitely a bit riskier on my trades right there. It's hard to know how long it's going to test a level or consolidate at a level. So our average is down. We're pretty good. Our max loss there might have been about $500, but it went in our favor. So this is how the trading on JLHL or whatever it was worked yesterday. It was set up like this. So very good trades. So our total, I'm not counting these, and I'm being honest. I'm not counting these first 2 trades of the day because they weren't. They're just playing around. Because I got up at 3 a.m. and my buddy didn't also get up at 3 a.m., so I had an hour to kill. Loser. Oh. Anyways, even if we did include those, we're still sitting up about $2,400. So good morning. Let's see. ELAB has news. We'll see what it is. ELAB has some news on it, but it tried to move yesterday. It's just not enough. It's too low price and no volume. Now, there's a distinct difference between averaging down because a trade is losing, which I've done. Like yesterday, my brain had that little shift when I took 10,000 and 11,000 share positions, which again isn't realistic. I just have to cut that. There's a difference between averaging down on a loser and averaging into support, which is what I'm trying to do because I don't exactly know when it's going to be done hitting support. And I found that I'm much better at making profit if I don't wait until it starts breaking out, because I get worse fills and less money. If I can get in a lot sooner, closer to support, it's making a huge difference, especially when it's just not that strong relative to anything else. Yesterday we had a really good move, probably the best one I've seen in 2 weeks. So that one, it had those actual pullbacks that you could buy, and then it went up and you weren't risking very much. So yeah, but our move on GMM this morning was interesting. It was up about 70% to start. It's up about 140 right now, but it started actually below our volume weighted average price, and it just started ripping. And so my first trade, I got in. Where'd I get in at here? At 361 as it was ripping over VWAP. So I got in right there just because it had the momentum like in the candle and in the level 2 and on the time and sales it was ripping. So we got in really solid. Really solid. Sold at 380, which wasn't, my best exit per se. I don't even know why I sold that, but the 10-second chart probably looked different. So, and then we got back in at 389 because I realized I shouldn't have gotten out. I got in for the break of 4 and got out at 416. So really solid trade. There was probably a pullback in there that I had to buy. So getting a lot better at this. Feeling very confident now. I just have to work on the psychology. When you're in with real money, there's so much more angst to it. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going to wait until, so it's July 10th this morning. I'm going to wait until September 1, as far as I'm tracking, to start trading with real money again. I'm going to build that account up. And then I'm going to go in with, I'll probably do 500 share positions instead of 1,000. I really need to make sure I protect my capital. And I'm going to be very selective about what I trade, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to find the best ones, but it's really hard to say for sure if an entry I take on a simulator is something I would take with my real money. So because the angst is high, I'm like, I don't want to lose it, And like, yesterday, for example, the odds of me making, $1,000 on my first trade here and walking away are extremely high. So the odds that I made, $9,000 are basically nilch. But these other really good entries, I mean, this is fine, $180. I caught the move. I read it right. I read it right. This one I read right, so yellow is just like, it's okay. You didn't necessarily do anything wrong. But it wasn't the greatest. Red is, you definitely made a mistake. All right, something's moving now. Let's go see what it is. Yeah, it's a stupid dollar stock. Oh, my baby's up. Nice little run up to VWAP setup. GMM's popping up again. Resistance levels at 445. It broke it just barely. That would confirm our reversal. So we could take a trade right here. We could get in at, 36. Our stop would be at 30, looking for the squeeze over 45. Just came back to the 10-second 9 EMA. Probably going to drop to the 20. In at 36, hoping for the squeeze through 45, up through 50 again. And we'll see. What did I say? Stop at 30? Well, there's the 10-second 200 EMA right there at 25, so we'll give it a little second here. Probably should have bought there, or added. If I added, that would have been good. Would have been a really good spot to add. But we're not really on the strong side here, so had a double top. Pretty much. So everybody on the internet says there isn't lag in the TradingView charts with what they trade. But I'm convinced it's just a hair of a second behind. It's in 32. We were in at 36. Looking for the squeeze through 445, and that will be a trend reversal. A lot of consolidation in there between 425 and 435, or 440 really. 433 on the bid with a bit of support. Disappeared. 432 on the bid. It's just consolidating. What we're looking for right now is a MACD crossover, but we're probably a couple minutes away from that, unless it spikes on its own. Last 1 minute candle closed green, nice solid rectangle. Let's see where this one goes. There it is. There's our squeeze through, rejected. Let's see if it comes back up. It tapped 50 and came down. Maybe we've got a seller at 50. Would have been nice to have added at 425 to bring our cost average to 430. Would have been a very nice little $250 profit. This would be our third rejection. So we've got 20 seconds left on this 1 minute candle, and then we'll probably get out of the position. But our MACD is very close to closing. So let's see what happens at the open. There's a big seller sitting there. Looks like they disappeared. Nope, they're back. We'll give it a second here. Volume's still okay. MACD's coming around. Let's see if it opens. Want to squeeze up to maybe 60 or 70 if we can, but we'd have to break through that 50 resistance. Seller sitting at 434. It's getting eaten up. And see how we added at and brought our cost average to 430, we would be all green right now. Down $10 at the moment, $30. We're looking okay. Here we go. Looking like we might try again. There's a slight curve up on our 1 minute chart. Hard to see with how it's set up right now. If I move to this mouse and it flushes, we'll be cooked. So yeah, really hard to see, but it's a slight curve up. I can see it on my other chart because this is expanded, which I can't do. Don't know how to do on this one. There it is. Here we go. Getting closer, hoping to punch through 50. I'm expecting a snap down if we do, so I'm going to sell at the top. 10 seconds till the 1 minute candle close. Looking for our squeeze. Some sellers at 445. There we go. Touches 50 on the ask. Comes back down. It did go through that briefly, just with a bit of a rejection. But I'm liking this at the moment. MACD's about to close. It's touching right now. It's doing a little kiff. Give it a second here. Fourth topping tail. A little bit of a flush. Bought the dip at 26. And it's flushing. It's going to flush to VWAP at 4. Nope, didn't touch VWAP. Average cost is 431. We ended up with another bit of a topping tail. 431's not bad. Now we're under the 10-second 200 moving average, which I just noticed. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Negative 340.
With dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Strong line of support and resistance, which I don't know a lot of traders that use it on the 10-second chart, but that was looking okay till it wasn't, so that's okay. Now we got to put our loss in. But that was a very, risk controlled. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits VWAP down there. It got pretty close at 403. It tapped 403, so you could probably catch around. No, so odds are what this is going to do is, you see these tails right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. What it's going to do is it's going to hit VWAP. It'll consolidate just for a second, and then it'll come back up for the retry. If it does. Otherwise, it'll just go below VWAP. But if it does come back up, it's going to come back up for the retry, and the odds are in the retry it breaks clean through. Finally got some news coming out, but it's Friday, so not expecting anything good. Oh, we got a popper with news. What's the news? Foreign issuer. Tokyo, Japan. TKLF. Nah, I doubt this is going to work. Looks a lot better on the 1 minute chart than it does the 10-second. I'm going to go read that news a little more deeply. Provider of health products, sundry products, luxurious products, electronic products, collectible cards, trendy toys. How it announced their financial results. Assets increased by 48%, 77% year over year increase in revenue. Very nice. Okay. We're getting a little interesting. Fairly top heavy. Look at that. Look at that. I knew I didn't like it. It's whatever, man. This right here, $2,500. Good profit. Considering I've been here for all of an hour and 40 minutes, yeah, we're doing good. GMM popping back up. So at this point, pop back up over our 200 moving average on our 1 minute. Yeah, in a little late on that one. But it was looking okay. A little topside pressure and sell off. Look at that. Look at that. Lots of sellers sitting in this, so see, we can wait to get a bunch of monkeys to clean it out. And at 421, this is an interesting play right here. Not a terrible entry. Let's see what happens. Look for a squeeze up to 440. That's all we're looking for. Yep. I need the punch through 30. Come on. There we go. Tapped 30 again. No, I broke 30 just briefly. Sitting up $50. Not anymore. Big flush again. Look at that. Let it come up just for a second and then sell it. I'm down $80. Yeah, we were right on our initial read, but it just didn't move like we wanted, so. Ooh, now we got one that's our price here. I feel like I saw this move the other day, though. Nope. That would explain that. I'm going to show you the very obvious resistance line here. Oh! Holy smokes! Too late on that one, man. There is no indicator to buy that anyways. Jeez Louise. Well, to me, there was no indicator. It broke through the high of day, too, at 5. And then just sold. That was crazy. Just ripped, dude. It went from like, let's see. The candle previous had 194,000 shares of volume, then it went up to 2.2 million. It's flipping crazy. Don't know what this is about. It's consolidating within a range. Let's see. I'm about to show you. If this breaks again, I'll jump in. But I'll show you how bad the fills are, how much it screws you up if you wait. Waiting for some support to be established. Looks like we got it about 468. Or excuse me, 478. This is very interesting. If you're in at 480, you could hope for a squeeze to 5. That'd be a nice little trade. But quite honestly, as I'm thinking about this, if this were real money, this isn't something I would look to get in. because it ripped, but it honestly kind of just rejected. So I'm gonna say no on that.
Obviously, a return to pre-little ice age temperatures is going to be an upward curve, isn't it? And that's what we're seeing. If you look at the evidence of the footprints of glaciers in the landscape, what you see is like terminal moraines of the little ice age, where show that those were probably the largest glaciers that have been worldwide since the end of the Great Ice Age. So again, this is something that's never explained or talked about.
That's frustrating.
Global warming hysteria, which is that if we look at the baseline from which we're talking about sea level rise, when we're talking about temperature rise, we're looking at the end of the Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age had some of the coldest temperatures of the last 10,000 years. So if that's your baseline, yeah, I'll a return to pre-Little Ice Age temperatures. It's going to look.
Meow. Well, I read that pop right, but I didn't sell it, and I should have just sold it. Story of my life. That's what I'm noticing. The nice thing is once you're up on the day, you've got a bit of a cushion, so you really need your first couple trades to go really well. I'd like to just snag 100 out of this and get out. All right, there we go. 130. I'll take that all day. We're done. Gotta get out of here. Gotta go to work. See y'all later. And at 414, stop would obviously be at 4. It's moving, but I'm not sure how strong it's going to move, so we'll see. There we go. Volume checks out. I'm actually expecting GMM to move again. This isn't really moving like I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and cut that, take the $60 loss. I'm going to go look at GMM. GMM doesn't quite have the volume on it, but we can give her a shot. 49, breaking over VWAP right now. Okay, so we got to break over VWAP. Checking for any sellers. Volume's a little bit lighter on this, so I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, not like that. We might just wait. Might just wait and see what happens. Oh, took a $150 loss on Soon. I guess we got out at a worse position than we wanted. But Soon looks like it was trying to break over a key 5-minute resistance level. So, well, while we wait here, made some good trades today. I need to put in the last one with Soon. Let me do that real quick. 414 to 408. Oh, I must have lost different money on it. I think I lost money at a different time on that. Yeah, so 414 to 408. That should only be $60. Correct. Count that as red. So we're setting up about 3,100 on the day. Remember, in the morning we had those couple stocks we're not really counting. I think that those walk in PMA because that was just me bored at 3 a.m. Now we're hitting the aftermarket here, but we made some really solid moves on GMM. Made a couple more during market hour. I think just 2. I think on this trade right here, I was actually up about $600. Yeah, I was, but I let it come back down. So I figured it was going to break up to VWAP, but it didn't. Then we got back in a little later after it ripped down and then came back up again. So not bad trades. Really, really solid day. I followed all of my rules today. No question about it. Perhaps averaging in with such large size isn't a rule, because I know that when I start here again in September, I'm going to change my share size significantly. So there we go. Starting to see some movement. I'm going to go in for the break of 75. Looks like it wants to. But we have two 1 minute topping tails up there at 75, so this might not be the exact minute it breaks, but VWAP is at about 260. 9 EMA is about 265. 20 EMA is about 264. By one bounce off of VWAP here at 260 if we get it. Should be a strong pop through 275 if it does. 274 on the ask. 271. Consolidating at the top. Not a whole lot of volume. About 40,000 every 10 seconds. 200,000 is kind of the minimum on the 1 minute chart per minute. Let's give it a minute here. If we see the dip at 60, we'll buy it. There we go. Off to the races. Now we'll just see if it holds. It might not. It might bounce all the way back down to 60. So getting in at 74 wasn't great, but we weren't that far over VWAP, so it was really proving it could hold VWAP. Okay, we got some big sellers that showed up at 75. It's always hard to know for sure if this is a position you would actually want to take. I read it right. I got the pop. It just wasn't very much because it's a smaller size. Hopefully it closes over 74. Got 9 seconds. We'll see. Just a one and done pop, it looks like. Opened higher. That's good. Still got some sellers at 75. Let's see if we can catch our dip to 60. 60 would bring our cost average down to about 67. VWAP's actually about 261 right now. And I'm very sleepy. Seems to be holding the base price. This is our leading aftermarket gainer at the moment at 28%. Not very good. There we go. Back up. Hopefully it breaks the previous high of about 284. Sitting about break even right now. There's a little more stepping up. I guess there's some sellers in the 70s. Some sellers in the 70s. Let's move in. Hopefully you see an increase in volume. Getting some resistance at 80 now. 40 seconds worth of resistance at about 80. Popping back down. If it doesn't move on the next one, on the next come up, I'm gonna pull out of this. I'd like to add down around 60. MACD is still open, but closing a little bit. This right here will flush down. Unless it's finding support at 70. I think it is. 50 seconds worth of support at 70. Lots of indecision here, so it's going to break one way or the other. More support at 70. Broke the 70 mark. That's good. Now I can get my dip. 67 is really volume weighted average price, but okay, there's 62. Average cost is $68.50, and that's fine. Not quite where we want it, but that's totally fine. Sell at 68 would be risking $360. Excuse me, at 60. 260 would be our stop loss. Whoops. Now really looking for a pushback up to 275. It may very well dip down below and to retest 250. I don't think this is strong enough or moving with strong enough catalyst in order for it to be justifiable to stay in. If it went that low to test, it would cost 268. Now, if we add it right here, we bring our cost average down to about 265, which is a reasonable expectation of the squeeze, but this was moving kind of for no reason, and it just dropped below VWAP. There's 59. I'll give it a little bit of time here, because sometimes they dip. 1 minute 20 moving average is about 255. MACD has closed. Not a great time to be in a trade. I need to stop doing that. I realized that today. I often end up in a trade over there. A little bit of a come up to VWAP. VWAP's at 264. Would be surprised if we recovered at this point. But we have a bit of a margin today, so we can make a mistake or two. This is the really nice thing about being up during the day is you can not worry so much about a big mistake. Well, you should still be risk adverse, but okay. If we can see a squeeze to 269, we'll be break even. Coming back over VWAP. Whether or not it's going to stay that way, we'll find out. Unless another stock starts moving, it'll pull the focus off to this one. 269. Not expecting this one to break unless I see the 270 seller getting eaten up. Yep, got eaten up a little bit. But it came back down. Let's give it a second. Normally it pops back. I don't remember. I don't remember what the price was when I looked away. Back kind of hovering right at volume weighted average price right now. So if this holds and this comes up, I would expect it to run back up through the high of day, which is about 284. But volume doesn't really support that at the moment. Max tolerable loss on this is about 360. There's 210, there's 270. Definitely dipping. Retesting the 20 EMA right now. There's 54. We're gonna blow this up. This is a lower price, so we technically can. 56. Now our cost average is 261.5. Hopefully we get a little pop here. If we don't, we'll get a pop down and that'll be done. But we know where our stop is 250. And we hit it and we missed it. Just barely. I should have read that a little better, but that's okay. That was a good chunk we lost. So, is that the first trade I made on this? Yeah, it was. So, 560 on that. Okay, I'm going to bed.